Welcome, everyone, to our show, FMA Talk Martial Chronicles. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and this is my co-host,
Peachy Tat.
And we're going to have a good show today. I didn't get to shave or anything. How was the weather down by you, bud?
Not too bad. It was, I guess we got snow yesterday and then freezing rain on top of it, but it was hardly anything left today.
I got like a foot and a half.
Oh, okay. We were up to 39 or 38 today. No big deal.
Yeah. Oh, it was like 27 was the highest we saw. So it was interesting. It took me about an hour to do the driveway. And Tom Adams says hello.
Hey, Tom.
And Rich.
Hey, Rich.
Okay. And Eric. So Eric's from Oregon. Rich is from Michigan. Tom, where are you coming from? And anyone who's anyone who's watching the show, please let us know not which platform you're logging in, but what area you're at. So experimented with some lighting more today. I've still got some stuff I gotta work on. Tried a slightly different angle on the camera. Oh, Renee all the way from up north. I heard I was listening to Sean Zergerwine on FMA discussion, the pre-show today about how much snow they got up there, but I don't think they got that much snow. Wah. And then Frank, hello.
Hey, Frank.
Looks just like you, Frank. All the way from Connecticut, and where we go, Arizona. Tom, very good, very good. And Chris Nally from Georgia.
Hey, Chris.
And then Jeremy from up north in Canuckia.
Nice. Hey, Jeremy.
And then Michael Black.
Nice.
Well, hey, Mike, do you know Mike?
No, I don't think
Mike,
so.
Are you part of the FCS group down there? By any chance? I'm actually going to be in Jacksonville in a couple of weeks. And Nathan's going to be here in a couple of months.
All right.
Renee, we got 9 feet of snow. I mean, but with the exchange rate, that's only like 2 inches. And then I missed training with you. We had no snow. All right. So,
we trained out this, Saturday? It was 18 out. We trained for like 2.5 hours.
That's not normal for you.
Nope. But we were out there I was out there from 9:30 till noon, so it's good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with the studio here. I'm otherwise known as the Dollhouse.
Right.
We're there. We'll figure something out. Had a little more lighting on today. Wish you would come to Arizona. Well, if you got a club, I'm more than happy to come down and do. I'm more than happy to come down and do a workshop. And then.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Very good. Both good. Great guys.
There's an Oklahoma group down there, FCS. It was hilarious. Someone called me on the phone one day asking if there was something down there, and then later that day I found the Oklahoma club just show up in one of my feeds, which just goes to show you that the Big Brother's always listening.
There you go.
Yeah. Bum. So before we start, let's go with our basics, please. Everybody, if you're watching the show, check us out on YouTube. Go over there. I mean, you can do it here as well. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button. I also want to thank our sponsors, which we have Vulpes Training Blades, and which is my favorite synthetic blade at the moment. We also have the Modern East University, and our feature seminar event for the year is the 65th anniversary of Modern Arnis event here in Buffalo. And of course, now my phone is blowing up with all the notifications that we're live. It's weird. When I put the show on, it said nobody was watching. And I'm
we have a bunch of people on it so far, so that's great.
And then all of a sudden, it was like, okay, 00007. I'm like, oh, like people don't like us anymore. And then, I know there was snow. So, did you see? Brock's new form? He does snow shovel Año East.
No, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta check it out. I think that's on his Instagram. And hey, ¿Cómo está acá?
Hey, salamat.
Bobby Ladra, Tuan Bobby. I love the man. Love the man. All right. And I probably say this a lot. So Century used to make these two bags. It was the black bag. It was the weapons bag. We had the basic one and then the extra large one. He's gotten the extra large one. I've got a basic one from way back in the day, but his is extra special because it has Remy's signature on it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Nice.
So I'm not saying that if it disappears, it'll end up in Buffalo, but I'm just saying you should keep an eye on that bag. You got anything special going on that we need to talk about?
No, I was just happy that I finally got my schedule out. I finally posted. That's been like a week or two or three late, but I finally got it out and updated. And so, with the mini Texas tour in there.
Good. Next week, the show is going to be about the World Mountain Race Alliance, how it started, why it started, what it's done, what it's doing, so on and so forth. Then I'm going to be doing a Datu's Corner live while you're down in Texas the first week. That's going to be about what happened when Professor was diagnosed in Germany. I was the only American there when that all went down. So I'm going to be talking about things from my viewpoint on that. I'd started a series of videos. Dan Anderson put out a book, and there's a bunch of inaccuracies dealing with me, and it's not going to magically fix itself. So I started doing these videos. And then I think what I'm just going to do is do Datu's Corner live on that. That way, if people have any questions, I can just ask that. And they'll probably be much shorter shows, or the main portion of that. Okay, so today's topic. I've got no rant today. No rant.
Uh-oh. That's weird.
Well, I might have a rant later. I mean, I just.
There you
go. You know what? I'll have my. Okay, here we go. We want to rant. Here's one of my rants. You know, all the titles, all the belts, all the awards in the world doesn't mean diddly squat when you're out in the real world. And I wish to God people would stop thinking that just because they're a martial art head instructor that they should, people should bend over for them and stuff. They did all this stuff before, like your shirt PG. There we go. That's right. Back in the day, when I would see people in the last couple of decades actually do this, where they'd make their students, which pay tuition, do chores around the house, help them with firewood and all this, and make them do these things. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure back in the day that was in substitute of having money to pay for tuition. And it may have been a cultural thing also, which is a foreign thing. I mean, I know people who've given there's a judo guy I did seminars with over in Rochester, and he's a huge coach. And his big thing was, you could pay for lessons or you could drag a tree down so they can, they had a logging area. So they would drag these trees. So you have an option. You could look at the big tree and go, no, that's too big for me. Here's the money. Or one, because it was a win-win for him either way, So, but what annoys me is that people think because of a title or rank, respect is demanded, not earned. And and how dare my students quit and all this other stuff. And I think the big thing here is that we offer a service. We're teaching people, and if they don't like what we're teaching, they're going to leave. And that's a couple things. Maybe they don't like the topic, or maybe they just don't like your ability to teach. I've said things that have turned people off in the past. I've said things that really got people excited and motivated in the past. So, I just think in general, it just annoys me when people do the, here, the one that really drives me crazy. So, Tim, what year were you born? Oh, I've been a black belt before you were even born. Okay. And you're a bigger douchebag since before that, most likely. Versus, hey, like the guy, I was going to talk to the guy at your seminar, the CLAC guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I wanted to talk to him because when he was teaching, he did a decent job, but, he made a tactical error. He brought 4 sickles and there was 30 people there. One of the things I would have sat there and said, listen, I just so you understand where I'm coming from, I've been teaching 30 plus seminars a year for the last 2 decades or so. So when you talk, I've got a lot of experience in quantity. I'm not going to say, and most likely I've been in martial arts longer than he's been born too, but That's nothing to do with it. I look at the experience being the person in front of me, which may have more time in doing something that, or more reps than I do. Okay, so let's see. We got Tom. What's Tom saying? I think you're awesome teacher. I'm gonna take that one from me and not you, but
I think he knows you. Yeah. Yep.
And then, hey gents, I'm playing hooky tonight. Oh, nice, George.
Hey, George.
So today's topic is modern Arnis and Kombatan the same? That's been I've debated that recently with some people. I thought we were on the same page. And there's more to it than that. I also talked about modern Arnis from the 70s. Is that the same as modern Arnis? If someone trained with Professor in the Philippines, why don't I consider them being the same as the people here in the States? Well, 26 years of evolution they missed, and they had an evolution of their own art. And I think that's actually probably at the crook of what we're going to be talking about today. So we both have some different topics we're going to bring. I'm going to come from I've got some images here I made up or harvested. I'm going to talk from an automotive point of view because I used to work in the automotive industry. I had some charts based on what Ty shared with us when Craig and I came down to the fall fling, and we happened to specifically talk about it because it was shortly after I had this little debate with the person. So I've always talked. So for those who don't know this, Remy was Kuya. He was big brother. He was 10 years the senior of his two brothers. So he started in 1957. The modern Arnis is when and this year is the 65th anniversary. So he was born in 36. So let's put things in perspective here. He was born in 1936. So that would have made him 21 years old. Quite young, but So his brothers would have been like 10, 11 years old. Okay. And I've had people try to say, well, the brothers, they co-created it. It's kind of hard that a 21-year-old would have been listening to a 10-year-old at the time. I think that the brothers all contributed to the growth of the art. That's why we're doing the anniversary camp the way we are. But things are, just to put that perspective here. And so Remy learned from his grandfather and his father. And Remy taught us, he was Kuya, so he taught his two younger brothers. So let's see what Tom Carnes has to say in here. Not the same. Remy had karate and judo. Kendo, Lestras, but he had Kuntao. Yep. Yep. Well, and that's actually going to tie right into what we're going to be talking about today. So, eventually, each brother started doing their own thing. I mean, Remy was doing his own thing the whole time. He expressed himself. And I got triplets in my school, which it's funny. The middle brother looks nothing like the other two brothers, but the other two are like pretty darn. You've met them.
Yep.
The middle brother is actually the biggest brother, and they're triplets, but they are far from being the same person. So they each they have a lot of similar traits, but each brother expresses himself uniquely. And that's what happened with Remy. So Remy the Presas brothers. Remy was the single stick fighter. Ernesto evolved in double stick, and Roberto did the stick and dagger. Not that the brothers didn't do all three, but that was the specialty of each brother, or the trademark. So there's no question in my mind that all three brothers had the same chassis, that it came from them. But being a Kombatan person doesn't make you a modern, and vice versa. Having a familiarity with modern Arnis, I mean, I started it was like 99 when I started Kombatan. And I progressed quite quickly in the system. But it was different material that I had to learn. And I always thought about that, it was all built on the same chassis, but that doesn't make it the same, which, let me see what Tom says here before we go on the next thing here. So, They did seminars together for 4 years. Part of Remy wanted the U.S. Ernesto took over other places. Yeah, so Remy really became the U.S. the force in the United States or North America, U.S. and Canada. Ernesto was big in the Philippines and started developing Europe. Roberto pretty much stayed home, and when the brothers would have been gone, he would have been keeping down the fort, you know. So Ernesto or Roberto didn't necessarily had a big following per se. He had a lot of commons. He had a bunch of students in common with his brothers. So now I talk about this quite a bit. We talk about the different chassis because we know in martial arts there's a bunch of martial arts that have come from the same roots, but that doesn't make them the same art. So since I came up in the automotive industry, I'm going to reference this in the automotive way. So let me just bring this up here real quick. Let me just, I'm just doing a couple different things here to figure out what works best for us. That could work. Let me get back to the brand. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay.
There you go.
That works good. So for those who are not familiar, these are two vehicles made by Dodge, an automotive company here in the States for those who are overseas. So the top one on the left, this is the, hold on here. This is the Dodge Neon. This is the Dodge PT Cruiser. Now, looking at these vehicles, you say, okay, they're not the same. But, in fact, they're both built on the same chassis. So, but if you look, okay, you can see that these doors would not be interchangeable. Body panels would not be interchangeable. They have different interior. There's a lot of different unique things of each vehicle. Yes, there's a chance that the engine might be the same in certain models. They might have different engines, but they might have same alternators and so on and so forth. But looking at these vehicles, you can tell there's a lot of parts that would not be interchangeable. The interchangeable stuff is probably the stuff under the hood. But you definitely wouldn't be able to put the doors on each other or anything like that, or fenders. The tires might work. Might have the same bolt pattern. You have to see if the size would be different. Now, if we go to another one I like to go with, there's this one right here. So here, these two vehicles are even more in common. Wouldn't you say they're, Ty?
I wouldn't say, but that's
by looks. Okay.
Yeah, right. They got the squarish shape in the back. Yeah.
Do you think that from looking, would you say that these two have more in common, or the second two have more in common?
From looking, I think most people would say these last two are like the top one's a smaller version of the bottom one as far as function goes.
Yeah. So from someone who's unknowing, you might even think that these two cars are related, wouldn't you say?
Maybe, yeah.
But the top one, the brighter red, that is a Dodge PT Cruiser, and the bottom is a Chevy HHR. Complete Chevrolet and Dodge. None of the parts are going to be interchangeable. There's a possibility that the tires, not the rims, but the tires could fit on each other, because for the most part, each manufacturer has a tendency of making unique bolt patterns on how to bolt the tires on, so the parts are not interchangeable. Mm-hmm. Different clearances, completely different vehicles. But from someone, from the connoisseur, you're going to know all the differences. For someone who's not a car guy, you might sit there and think they're this. They could be the same vehicle, just a newer model, an older model, so on and so forth. So that ends my comparison. Hold on, I'm going to go back to here. I'm just talking, and when we're talking about this right at the moment, I'm talking from I got to see what I'm missing here. Oh, there's the button. Okay, stop sharing. All right, we're back. We're back. It's us. I still got to work on all my ability to move things around here. So, okay, there we go. Now we're back. Now I've got more stash. Actually, I got it more for you based on, like you said, stuff that you shared with us. But I'm going to go back to get the conversation up. I mean, there are, from a technical point of view, yes. Does Ernesto So Ernesto started with the same angles of attack as Remy.
Mm-hmm.
But he also does he does a 9-angle system, which is like 8, but the thrust is A and B going to left and right, which really it's a different angle, so it might as well be 8 or 9. You've got the doubly baston. If you do the 14, then you got the 24. You got your staff angles of attack. You know, blah 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 blah. Yeah, an angle's an angle's an angle, but at the same token, you know, everything's unique. And I don't see there's a lot. I don't want to say. Like I said, it's not that you can't do the same stuff, but Ernesto has different material that you want. Oh, I lost the tie. Uh-oh. Is everyone still there? Hold on. I didn't kick you out. That wasn't me.
No, something happened. But also, you're lagging for some reason. I'm not sure if you're lagging for everybody.
Am I lagging?
Well, to me, yeah.
I don't know. Tom says yes. Rich says yes. Well, you know what I'm going to do? No, but I'm going to tell you. I am going to I'm going to hand it over to you for a minute or two.
Okay.
I've got an Ethernet cable. I'm going to see about plugging that in.
Okay. All right. Oh, and Brock says you're not lagging.
Either way, I'm going to plug in the cable.
So that's what I should do, stuff like this. And then,
well, how are you doing?
Yes, exactly.
F you. Yes, lag less than a second. Like audio doesn't match the video.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. But sounds like not everybody is. All right, no worries. It's not that much.
Either way, I'm gonna let you talk for a little bit while I do this.
All right,
and I can distract everybody.
There you go. It's not that much, but yeah. So, I mean, that's one way to look at it. One of the ways I look at it is by material, by history, connection, and then evolution. Right. So, Remy started out initially teaching his brothers, right? As far as what their exposure was. Now, eventually, Ernesto, especially, had some extra training, and then also from the father. But and maybe I'm not so familiar with Roberto, but they also went their own ways. So one of the ways that when we get to the graphics, I'll map out kind of my view of kind of what happened, and hopefully that'll make some sense. But again, it's just one way of looking at it, and it has nothing to do with the judgment of quality or quantity or efficacy or anything like that. It's just trying to trace who's doing what and how, and where the links are and where the differences are. And I think the differences are important, interesting, and illustrative, right? It's important to understand good things and where they come from, and pay attention to those details, because it also gives you some insight about what goes together, what ties together, what bounces off each other. And that's the way I think, right? Everybody else could think differently. That's fine. But I tend to analyze things, think about things if I'm not training. If I'm training, I'm thinking while I'm training, but I also train when I'm not physically training. So that's just the way I look at it. Like I said, we'll get to those, my diagrams, very simple. Mine are going to be more, I believe he's copying down the things I walked through in our discussion in the kitchen, and there are Venn diagrams.
It's killing me. So I don't have my hub with me. I have my power source. My hub has an Ethernet input where the power source doesn't have an Ethernet input. So basically, it's Wi-Fi only.
All right.
Let me see here. Okay, good evening. Yeah, hello, Taro.
Hey, Taro. And Rocky, yay. When is he coming on?
I don't know, Rocky. When are you going to be on the show? Wow, that was a good one there. Not to me, because he's in Buffalo. Yeah, he's up north. Okay, here we go. He came out in the car. Here's the body types. So Ernesto staying one way, but literally Remy, all the J's. So the link on base. Yep. Colors are different.
Well, and I would say he did add in the sense of exploring more in more detail, particularly for the double stick stuff.
There we go. Okay, so listen. So let's back up this. Let's talk about, before we go any further. I don't want to do, we have been very outspoken about our opinions on things. Oh, what's that word again? Opinions.
Right.
Okay. We give people information based on our data. And many times, or a bunch of times on the show, we've point blank said that we don't look at someone. I'm gonna say my words. So this is me. There's people I don't look as being modern Arnis, as opposed to modern Arnis influenced, or a derivative of modern Arnis, something that came from and went in a different direction. And one of these things, in a positive manner, is Kombatan. So if it's the same, oh my goodness. Do I put that up there?
Sure, why not?
Whenever, just be gentle. I'm a virgin, Okay.
Good. So that means he's coming.
He's on the show. Okay, we'll figure out a day when you get back from Texas. I got 2 weekends away. Yeah, when you get back from Texas, we'll schedule some more guests.
And remember, I can do the one remote the 9th.
Yes. So I've made comments about how I felt that some. Okay, listen. Yeah, okay, there we go. Here we go. So first of all, Rich says, "Love you, Rocky," and this is what George says right here. Here we go.
There you go.
Each man deserves their unique props.
Yep.
And can't wait. Okay, good. Now here's the deal. Anshan Bakan is the founder of Balintawak, but Jose Villasin created the grouping systems. You cannot give Anshan credit for creating that. You can give Anshan credit for the material that he synthesized that ended up being put into the groupings, but he didn't put them in the groupings. That's not his thing. And giving him credit for what one of his students did is not fair. Okay. And if modern Arnis and Kombatan is the same, then what you say is, wait for it, you give Remy all the credit for what his brothers did. And that's not right.
Right.
Okay. That's not right at all. Ishinru Karate is Goju and Shonru put together, but it was Tatsuo Shimabuku who put that synthesis together. Okay. Doing Ishinru gives you the Goju and Shonru roots, but it's not the same. And once again, going from, and we'll go to the graphic, but going from one to another, there is transitional work that needs to be done. It's just not a plug and play. You can't just hop in. Listen, I can go to any Kombatan event and I'd be fine because I understand concepts. I might not know all the material, but I can figure stuff out. Okay.
I think that's the benefit of them having some of the same starting DNA. Is it's all in the concepts, right? The concepts there's a large overlap, right?
Yeah. And an Ernesto guy could hop into a Remy seminar and feel pretty much the same thing. Would certain motor memory take you down a path that might not be, I don't want to say wrong, but may not be the goal. A lot of times when I'm teaching my seminars, I tell people, do it exactly the way I have it. Okay. Because I have a progression. And then when you go home, tear it apart, do what you want with it. But there's a method to my madness. Sometimes I'm just mad, but when I'm teaching a seminar, there's a method. Okay, so first of all, I whipped these together today. I actually didn't think I was going to have time to do anything. I had no adult students showed up. One advanced student show up for kids, and then Janice had the little ones. So I was like, I got some stuff. I had some time to do some things, experiment with some ads I'm working on, but this is not my normal work of art that I do. It's pretty blasé. So first of all, it was me who did the artwork. Tye is based on his concept, and you're going to talk about the sizing and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, depending
Okay,
on if it fits or not.
Okay, so let me get rid of the brand, and then let me go back to what let me try this. Nope. Well, that wasn't that bad. Okay, how's that?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I think there was a earlier one just before this too, but that's okay. We can talk through it.
Nope, it's the car one.
No, I mean as far as what I.
Yeah. So the first one, we wouldn't have this white circle.
Well, or we would. It would be different names. So for me, I started with a dark circle that was Remy and Modern Arnis in 1957, right? And he starts teaching his brothers, and so there's one of the white circles you could put in there is Ernesto, which eventually, grows into Kombatan. But I don't think I named it Kombatan right then. But it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
This is just to keep them straight. So black circle right now is initially starting out. Remy's teaching his brothers, and the white circle here that's shown, forget everybody else, is Ernesto, and what would eventually we'll see as the progression goes turn into Kombatan. Okay.
Now that could be the material. What you would say is maybe that. And one way to look at this is maybe that Remy had the full body of work, but maybe Ernesto gravitated towards certain elements of what he was doing.
Could be, or eventually what you could have expanded to fill up. Maybe Ernesto learned everything in the black circle at that time.
Yeah.
That's not the point. The point is that then this happens, right? The budding, right? So as Remy is around less, right? He's exploring his, being out in training in Balintawak, right? In Cebu and surrounding areas. Then he's not around, right? And his brother is running things or keep on training and thinking, because that's what he does. And he's an innovator for sure. And it starts budding out, right? So now the overlap is not the same, right? So Ernesto's material starts still having the concepts overlap, right? We see that here, but also some of his growth is showing outside the circles, because Remy didn't have that growth, right? Remy didn't have the white part that's outside the black circle. Remy had his own growth. So we could actually show, the black circle having some bumps on it too from all the Balintawak and every else thing, but that it doesn't matter for this discussion. So, the more Remy's away, the more the Kombatan circle starts becoming its own thing. And I think that's just the progression. It's just a logic kind of a Venn diagram. Now the overlap and the areas and the sizes, that's not so important except for the change over time, right? The relative sizes, don't worry about that. Well, don't really get freaked out too much, but it's just the idea that Ernesto has his own growing self-consistent expression that Remy didn't experience that, right, when he was gone. And the concepts, right, are still in the overlap there. The concepts overlap, the starting material overlap, the seeds overlap. But at some point, you got to recognize that it's now not what Remy's teaching, right? If somebody was to look from the outside, they go, "Wow, there's a market difference there." We'll say market, right? Because I don't want to say good, bad, huge, little. It's just market, right? Anybody could notice that there was a definite difference.
Yeah, and if you look at this right here, okay, so I was the one that put this together, and there's always going to be somebody who's going to say something. So so I really don't know what the exact percentage is, because I look at as a Remy guy first. Okay, so I was with Ernesto since '99. He didn't promote me to 9th and GM until 07. So this was not an overnight promotion with him. I went out to Tahoe a few times when he was teaching out there. I saw him a whole bunch of different places.
Is that where you met Rick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what happened is he did a seminar in Maine. I finally met up with him there, which was great, because he's like, he called me his brother because I got Remy to talk to him.
Right.
And then I said, well, yeah, you're more my uncle because Remy's my papa. So, but whatever, we were tight, and I kept bumping into him, I kept seeking him out. And then Rick met him in Tahoe, got along with him great, started bringing him into Buffalo. So when I didn't see Ernesto, I could work with Rick and then ask him questions that he understood better because he had a much better control of the English language. I mean, he came up. I think he moved from the Philippines when he was 16. And so he was immersed in the American culture and English language. So it was easier to communicate with him and ask questions. And he's one of the most talented Kombatan guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could specifically ask for different things here and there. So let me just give a couple. I'm going to go. Okay. So,
well, actually, let me say two more things about this progression.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Okay.
So one is, if the point is here that there wasn't a on-off light switch at one point, Ernesto was teaching modern material, gray circle only, and then suddenly, boom, he had a white circle.
No.
That never happened.
Yeah,
from my perspective.
Watch the progression again. Oh, there we go. There's the first progression.
There you go. But personally, I can't see that happening, right? His growth and expression happened because Remy wasn't around. He was having to teach, and he was having to grow and think and expand, and so he did that. So that's all this is trying to show. But the point there, though, then is not a yesterday it was all modern East, and then today he's teaching Kombatan. That is in name only, not material. That's my viewpoint there.
Okay. We go with the graphic.
Yeah, good with graphic, and then like I said, sizes. Don't worry about it so much. And maybe the overlap is more. That's not the point. The point is at some point, and then we have the stories about why was the name changed. There are a lot of stories there, and I don't want to get into a lot of them, but there's good ones and bad ones as far as friendliness goes.
At the end of the day, it's a simple one. Mm-hmm. Each brother was different, and the arts merited to be named something different to give each brother props for their contribution.
I think that's the best way to look at it. Yeah, and I think that's good. It gives everybody their credit. And we still know that Remy started his brothers out, and that's great too. So we have that family connection.
Right. So, like I said, when I put this together, okay, so let's give an example. Now, remember, this is the thing that annoys me more than anything else. We cannot we have to talk in generalizations, not specifics, because I'll sit there and say, one of the shows we're going to talk about is that Modern East Modern East players didn't fight. And then what did Joe Rebello say? Well, don't tell that to Doug Pierre. I tell that to Doug Pierre because he, like myself, was an anomaly. If Remy had 10,000 people, maybe 100 people fought out of all that, and most of them were, and while Remy was alive,
right? If that many, but I mean, so there's that saying, right? Because there's always the exception that proves the rule. Right. There's a saying. There's that saying for a reason.
So, so when I say this, we got to understand about not what Professor showed once, not what Ernesto showed once. We're talking about what was consistently being done on a day-to-day basis. So one example, modern Arnis doesn't do staff work. Some of its members do staff work.
Right.
Okay. So Kelly Warden put a lot of work into his staff program. But Remy didn't teach staff. And you guys down in Texas, you showed him a staff form, correct?
We showed him the first 3 Baston años in staff version, and he said he liked it. He didn't even say you could do that. He said, keep doing that. So I'll take that as a good thing.
So he encouraged your exploration.
Yes, absolutely.
So, when I none of the guys are on the show at the moment, but what I always say to people is, hey, someone will ask me, do we train weapons? Or what weapons do we train? And my response to them is, yes, we train weapons, because anything I can pick up, I can utilize. Now, it may not be the way it's designed to be used. I really don't care about that. I'll take a rope dart. Those are pretty badass. And I will take the metal piece and hit you with it, and I'll tie you up with the rope. I don't care what the methodology is. So here we go. So Remy trained Balintawak before he officially created Modern East. Yep. We've got great graphic. I've got too many devices conflicting with each other. Great graphic, great exploration. Cool. And then Rich, I personally did staffs and wallies. It was not a regular thing for others, from my experience. Exactly. So the person who turned me on to that was Bong Hernellis. I was Datu Bong Hernellis. He was the second or third, depending on the time frame. Pretty much the same year that Kelly became Datu. So I've always thought Kelly was the second, and then Bong was the third. But some people are trying to say it's the other way around. Whatever, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Hey, listen, there's 6 of us. Period. Or in that case, exclamation point.
Good thing there's only 6.
Oh my God! If there's any more, we're driving each other crazy.
That's right.
Now, so, unfortunately, there's only 5 that are still living. So
true. But so you know that I do staff Sinawali's the same way we do them as Baston, right? I hold the end of a 6-foot staff and I do Sinawali's that way for grip strength training.
Right.
I'm the only one I know that does that, but I find it very fun. And
I don't have the ceiling height for that stuff anymore. So,
yep.
What I did was, it was Bong Hernellis was doing a staff session after hours at the Michigan camp. Matter of fact, Rocky was there.
Oh,
so this would have been like 89, 90, right around there. So Bong is there. I hop into class. Had a couple of people. Actually, Jeff Leader was there with me, and we're going through. And he's teaching the second. His first Sinwali was single Sinwali. Got it. No big deal. Or it's 10 count Sinwali, which is like single and 4 corners and advanced single Sinwali. From the Kombatan side of things. Right. I'm watching. And all of a sudden, hey, Jeff, what? This is the next move. What? How do you know it's the next move? Because he's teaching double Sinwali. And because you got caught up with this huge staff,
right? You
didn't look at his 2 sticks. You looked at his 1 big stick, and it didn't represent what we thought we were normally used to. So then I learned all the Sinwalis from Hernellis, and when he told me, it's like, hey, do you and Rich says, good one, PG tie.
And that was about the Datu poke.
Yeah. So what he would tell me after I learned all this in Wallace, he goes, just take the staff and figure it out for yourself. And I did, but he was that one that first inspired me to look into that, and but modern doesn't do staff, but Kombatan does. The stick and dagger from modern Arnis, which was small and became even smaller over years, was all the police. And then eventually Professor ditched the knife when he was teaching police. I don't know if that was because it was daggers weren't available at the time. A lot of times you would tell people, hey, training knife. It was always, I don't know. Did you ever hear this one at lunchtime at camp? When we come back, we will need the dagger. And, if you don't have one and you happen to find, from the lunch, you take the dagger, the knife for the butter, but, you have to put it back later. Did you hear that story once in a while?
Yep.
Thank God no one did. Those butter knives had serrations on there. I didn't like them.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Professor started backing away from that because, well, if we didn't have access to those, how would you have done stuff? I'm definitely going to bringing my docking station home so I can plug in because I'm noticing more of a watching this is just a little lag time.
Okay.
Yeah, Kung Fu is good.
You killed my master. Prepare to die.
We must eat. So Remy's stick and dagger when he did it was predominantly done through police. Ernesto's stick and dagger, he has the 15, allegedly 20 series, which to me, doing some research, would not be surprised if that was inspired by Lightning Scientific, because we were working with Angelo, and Angelo didn't say it came from Lightning, but I said, listen, to me, this seems like that it was inspired by what you're doing. I showed him the things. He goes, there is a strong similarity, but he didn't want to commit to anything.
Right.
So, and if that was the case, let's say Ernesto did work in Lightning Scientific. Well, Remy didn't. Each brother had unique experiences, and they expressed themselves uniquely.
Yep.
Remy does the double action abanico. Ernesto does the abanico dubliti dublata, which is similar, but Remy's was done off of block check counter and quarto material, where in the Kombatan you could do it off of, you wouldn't have to check, and it would be done more largo mano, more the long range versus the short range, and it's different, you know.
We started getting some specialization, right?
I mean, let's talk about the biggest thing. I mean, okay, there's really, in my opinion, there's only really two Sinwalis. Everything's from those two Sinwalis, but Remy did single Sinwali. He did double Sinwali. If you did all high, he would call high redundant, but that was really double Sinwali with all three sticks pointed up.
Right.
And when he did reverse Sinwali, otherwise known as Earth, that was double Sinwali with all three sticks pointed down. Now, I'm pretty sure I remember Ernesto saying double Sinwali, high, middle, or low.
Okay.
When Bong Hernellis, he didn't call them the Sinwalis, he called them the structures, and he numbered them based on the beat. So double Sinwali would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. How many beats do you get from your right side to your left side? Okay. 2 count or 3 count Sinwalis. Exactly. Just what I was saying. There we go. You know? But Remy didn't do parals, the looping Sinwalis. He did not do the X Sinwali, which was single Sinwali, in my opinion, threaded.
Yep.
He didn't do double Sinwali from the open guard. Now, I didn't see either brother do mirror Sinwalis at all. Although, well, actually, Remy did half mirrors, because Remy would do, when he did single stick against double stick with single Sinwali, half of it was normal and half of it would be mirrored.
Right.
You know, and then if people aren't familiar with the mirrored, that would be the mirrored side. You got a whole bunch of new stuff you built behind you next to the plaque, or is that just a bunch of remotes that are stashed up there?
No, that's I think that's some old motherboards and Bitcoin things and all sorts of weird stuff.
With the way you've been building stuff. Oh, here we go. And, you know, this is something, because Rocky talked about this before, and I'd be curious to see the open hand version of this. Oop. Remy Presas, Spotty Gaga. Well, that's the guy. Is that like Lady Gaga, but different?
That's right. Spotty Lady Gaga.
Mostly Cruzada de Mano and Palis. His Cinco Terros is primarily a Spotty Daga. He loved to have my wife demonstrate in Detroit. Yeah, I remember when she would do so in front whenever Jace Pryor brought him in. The problem was it was hard to teach that in a seminar. Okay, yep. So, you know, there's each brother did things that the others didn't. I mean, Remy did okay, I train with both brothers. Okay, we got a relationship. We have a relationship with the family. You know who hasn't pilled out? What is it? How do you say his name again?
Plairdell.
What, you know, the next time he logs in, we got to ask him to see if he can get Tito Berto on the show with us.
Oh, that'd be great. Yep.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, this is like the one time he hasn't been on. Maybe he's on and not said anything.
Yeah, well, if you're there, hey, I will send you money to pay for a load, because they might have to use a load on a cell phone. I will send money to charge a phone so we can do that.
Hopefully they weren't hit too hard with storms and stuff, and it's not still part of the problem.
You know, but he's been on the show since.
But he was on last week. Yeah,
it's rough. Oh my god!
But it's morning there too right now.
Yeah, but it should be 10:20
something
there.
Like that. Yeah,
yeah, because it's now 13 hours ahead of us due to daylight savings time. So, but if he comes out, we got to remember to ask him to see if we can get Tito Berto on, and he can translate for us and stuff. And hell, he might be able to do a demo. That'd be
there
awesome.
You go.
I owe him some stuff. I gotta send him some content. So, you know, like I said, each brother did their own thing. I mean, this is more than just modern and Kombatan. It's also the Hin Negro and Arnis Kombatan. We just don't have as much material to reference on that, unfortunately. You know, are all brothers going to be doing the same 12 angles of attack? Yeah, but then they developed in other ways. I mean, Ernesto's 14 and 24 count with the double stick. That is not the same.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's really a 10 angle system done 3 ways, but you know, but we can get on that on a different show.
And Rocky is another good point yet again.
Okay, here we go. How does Rocky get so good at doing stuff? Tim, you know better than anyone. Remy had what he thought at seminars, or taught at seminars, and when he taught you in person, you were lucky enough to have learned what he did. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there was 2 things. So, and we keep talking about this on the show. Having started in modern has given me a different approach. Ty worked with Eric Alexander, who did an amazing job in prepping him. Mm-hmm. And because Ty didn't try to, let's say you and Chad and a few other guys back in the day, mm-hmm. Really tried to do it as a standalone program as opposed to the art within your art. Yep. So most likely you knew more of the material that you. So here's the thing.
Well, and we also got stuff that he gave us stuff in the yard at someone's house, right? Yeah. For the whole day. So there was stuff that he didn't do at seminars. But that was only a piece of it. You guys got a lot more.
Well, but the thing here is this: if you came to the seminar knowing everything he was going to teach, mm-hmm. All right. So, so here's the thing: like I said, I got completely different seminars than everyone else, and we were all in the same room. Like, well, where did you get this material from? I go, didn't you see that? What do you mean?
Yep.
I go. They were too busy working as the art within your art, which means, okay, modern age person does 1 hour of training a week. Would you say that's an average?
You mean back when Remy was alive?
Yeah, when he was alive.
If that.
Okay, we'll say this. So that's 50 hours a week or a year, right? Yep. So I was doing, say, 20 hours a week.
Right.
So, you have 50 weeks. So what's that, 1,000 hours a year to their 50 hours? So I pretty much knew exactly what he was going to teach these guys. Now, everyone else was trying to play catch up. And they say, well, how can I play catch up when I started years before you? Well, because you still didn't commit to the art.
Right.
And if you look, Professor demonstrated so much material. He taught us so much. But if you were still working on how to do the angles of attack, you missed everything else he taught.
Right. Right. He used to illustrate what he was trying to do. The stuff he was using as an illustration was the stuff that he was also teaching the people that already knew the stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So to get the basics that he was teaching you, hey, he's going to show a couple of things so you know where you're going. Great. But he wasn't teaching you that unless you already knew it. Then you got it. Anyway, I still use that kind of teaching method to this day.
I learned it at his full-time school, so I understood what footwork was. But if you watch it, a lot of times, actually, I don't know when Professor didn't demonstrate the proper footwork. But he may not have emphasized that during the class because people were having problems learning the angles of attack.
Right.
So sometimes you would just sit there and say,
"Yep,
I'm going to put 1 foot in front." Or if someone was filming, he wouldn't be able to move as much. Mm-hmm. So he tried to stay in the pocket. I had someone give me grief, well, you know whom, about Remy's angles of attack and the footwork.
Right.
And they went on a mission to find an example of Professor not doing the footwork.
Right.
I'm like, okay, but how many times did he show footwork? And how much footage is there really out there of Remy? Because I had the most amount of footage, and then Remy started one day at the Michigan camp. Terry Warren walks up to me and says, this is the way that Remy, for years I had brought my camcorder. Then finally Terry goes, this is how Remy makes money. Okay. And videos. Okay. Enough. Stop. I got it. I put my camera away. Okay. I wasn't sharing those videos with people.
Right.
But he didn't want that footage out there. He didn't want it. So I said, all right, I put the cameras away. Okay. So unlike today where people pull out smartphones and start videoing stuff, these people would have been so lost. Today's martial artists, oh my God, if they didn't have a smartphone with them, they'd be at the whim of having to buy whatever merchandise was being sold by people. Even then, they probably still aren't conditioned enough to look at the demonstration and not what he was teaching. So much more. Oh, did you look at his body torque? What do you mean? I go, watch his body. And I wouldn't have known those things to look at the beginning. I was looking at footwork. But then, later, you can get that body torque without stepping at all. What was that one guy said? He had to do blunt walk to learn how to pull the stick back or to do body torque or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on. Remy taught that shit all the time. He showed it to you. Listen, if he kept demonstrating it time and time again, it's on you that you weren't smart enough to pick that up on your own.
Well, and it's not just what you saw; it's what you felt.
Oh my God!
So
and, it goes back to the basics. Oh, is there a written curriculum? Hey, Rocky, you've been at the camps. Do you remember some form of written test that we would go through? Now, I mean, not saying write out an exam sheets with content on it that we had to be tested on. Do you remember those things at the camps? Because somebody, one of the juniors, are trying to say the curriculum didn't exist. But I was like, wait a minute. If you got these sheets, then you deconstruct these sheets. And, there was curriculum all over the place. Unless you were rote learned. And that's the problem, too. Martial artists, the early era martial arts weren't very educated over here because they brought it back from the military, or the military people brought it back in they had 6 to 12 months of training. And then what would happen? They didn't realize that the Americans were going to come over and actually open up schools. They're probably more ceremonial / symbolic black belts. The next thing you know, what do you mean you have a dojo? What is the gaijin doing with dojo? Okay, here we go. Remy's blunt walk was embedded in his art. You just need to figure it out. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Let's do this. We've been talking about this. What do people think about this? What do you think about modern and Kombatan? Do you have any questions on that?
Or any points? Or
do you agree, disagree? Are you just putting up with us because you got nothing better to do on a snowy Monday night?
Could be that. Well, also, one of the things,
you guys suck.
That's right. Well, one of the things I like is, I for one appreciate differences and similarities, and I think that's the more valuable discussion. Whether or not saying, hey, they're the same or they're not the same, those are kind of binary. Those don't really help anybody's understanding, right? But if you look at some similarities and try to understand them, deconstruct them, like you said, and differences, you get a whole lot from all of the sides of what you're thinking about there. So yeah, if you got anything along those lines too, add that in. Basically, you add in whatever and we'll see. We'll put it up and respond. I don't think there's been hardly anything we haven't included over the year, I guess I could say years now, right? We're in our second year. Uh-oh, what happened? I didn't notice that he disappeared. Let's see if I missed anything. Okay. We got Rocky's comment there a couple minutes ago. Then Rocky's next comment, I can't bring it up, but here it is. Yep, you are right, Tim. Remy had a foundation. The younger group just wanted to be spoon-fed. Yeah, well, and like Tim was saying, that the preparation or the way you take it, right? I don't know about everybody else. I took notebooks full of notes every camp. I would have 15 or so pages after a camp, and I'd have a year's worth of material to work on because of the detail and the observations that I made. And of course, I wasn't stopping with that year, right? I was going to multiple camps a year and whatnot, but you had plenty of material.
So I took a break.
Okay.
That's why the brand, if you look, it all of a sudden went to this instead. So the logo wasn't there, so I had
that. Okay.
And then I came back because
I needed
a washroom break.
I see. Bio break.
Yeah. So,
well, it's funny because I wasn't looking at the screen, so I actually couldn't tell when you did that.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This will be the test because she was brought up a different way.
Girl, Jackie, yeah. Just got home and super interested in the topic. Well, we answered everything, so
Jackie, if you're trying to say you're ready to listen to this, you're gonna have to read the broadcast, the rebroadcast, because we're kind of done with it. And I'm not joking. And we've been on this for an hour, and I don't know how much more we can talk about it.
But we did open it up for people who want to add things or disagree or agree.
So, yep. Jackie, since you just logged in, what we basically talked about is that each brother contributed in their own way, and each system has its own fingerprint, but it's not the same. Doing modern doesn't make you a Kombatan stylist, doesn't make you an Arnis stylist, and vice versa. Because if that was the case, then it's all modern Arnis, and then you're taking credit away from the two other brothers for the developments that they did. So could you transition back and forth? Sure, but you're going to need to do makeup material. Okay, so when I went, Ernesto promoted me in 2007. I went back 2 years later and brought on 4 black belts that went from anywhere from Lacanis all the way up to a pot, 1st degree to 4th degree, right, to prove that it wasn't just a rubber stamp promotion. I mean, okay, I went from nothing. Well, I want to say nothing, but he only promoted me once in Kombatan, and that was right to 9th degree and Grandmaster. But that was 6 years after Professor died. So it wasn't, and because of that happened, I had to go back, in my opinion, the next camp and produce a bunch of black belts that could pass that test to prove what's that. Okay, here we go. Boom. Mr. Craig.
That guy.
For my exposure to both.
Mm-hmm. And there's a gentleman that in front of him, he takes it seriously for sure.
So he tested in the Philippines for Ernesto, for John. Yep. And he goes, John actually said that he had the most heart of all the tests with the Canadians. And, he was the least practiced of them, least years wise, but he had that fire. He's like, yeah, no, he's going to be the good guy there. And then Darren, yeah. And Darren, I did get your email. I will be responding this week. There's a bunch of emails. I spent like 2 hours of and snow removal and exploring the town. Oh, Bill Barker. I haven't heard from him. He hasn't been on the show yet. So here we go. Wait for it. I'll let you read this one because it's a big one.
Sure. So Bill Barker says, sorry I'm late to the game. My FMA started in 1999. I know both systems utilized all ranges, but I seem to have seen more Largo range and double stick in Kombatan. And I know Modern Ace has those, but would you say that Kombatan spent more time on that?
Okay. Let me see. The heat was almost killed.
Oh, in the Philippines, yeah.
And then the test was tough. Yes.
Good.
So here's the thing.
For Bill's quick comment, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about. Remy was a Blintwalk stylist as well. So I'm going to go with what Rich did. I want to start with your we'll do the graphics real quick. But the thing here is Blintwalk is a short range specialty. So Remy did all the ranges, but he wanted to be close enough to grab you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay? So let's reframe this. I don't think the other two brothers had the same quality of close quarter combat combatives. I think all three were diverse in their training, but Remy wanted to be in your face and twist you into a knot.
Yep.
And and even though he got a lot from Wally J, think about this. For those who know old comics or cartoons, Wally J was Droopy Dog. And Droopy Dog would come up and you go, you made me mad. And he'd go smash, smash, smash and hardly move at all. Remy was the Tasmanian devil. Oh, tell me I'm wrong.
Right? No. He would get in there and mix it up. But it, it wasn't always locks and throws. It was also just bash, right?
He would smash,
yeah.
He'd punch you, he'd elbow you. He wanted to get close to drop you.
Yep.
So Ernesto made a comment once. I was listening to people talk about this, like, well, could you beat your brother? I go, well, as long as I can keep him long range.
Fair.
I don't see that happening. I
Well,
love Ernesto, but Remy was the fighter of the family.
Well, it's interesting, watching, and I haven't done this, right? I haven't done this hardly much at all, but the Kombatan's freestyle, to me, there's some similarities. It's like a longer range version of some of the stuff Remy liked to do, but it's not saying the style is long range. I'm just saying that was an interesting take on things that expanded both, right?
Yes. If you looked at modern, there was a lot of long range material there, but here's the thing. It takes a lot more time to develop close range skills, and I think that's why Remy put more emphasis on that. So let's catch up a couple here. Do you think that answered Barker's?
Sure. If it didn't, we'll hear about it.
We've got a treasure trove of Ernesto books
Nice.
today. Oh, nice. Yeah, I will recap that. Chris, how you doing? I'll be down there shortly.
That's 2 weeks.
Terrain seems to be different between the two systems of training. And then Rocky. Okay, here we go. When you think about it, Tim, we are the next set of brothers. You have your version, I have my version, and we're both around the right way to teach Andy and Delaney, and as Andy and Delaney, whoever else is teaching. But Tim, you are doing what suits you. My advice is what is worth it. Run with it. And okay, yeah, of course. And then, okay, Bill. Okay, good. So Bill's happy with that. Cool. And we can talk about other things with that as well. So, how about we recap for the latecomers?
Sure.
Okay, so let me get rid of this.
We can do cars or circles.
I'm going to do both.
Okay.
So I've got it up right now. So here's what we talked about. And I'm going to get us in the... There it is. Okay. So let me get over to that screen. Boom. Okay. So Jackie and the others, we talked about how things came from the same chassis. So, and I know Bill being in Detroit, he'll understand this because, all the car manufacturers there. So here we go is the Dodge Neon, and this is the PT Cruiser. They are both made by Dodge. They're both actually on the same chassis, the same frame, but each car is unique and different. The body parts are not
different expression.
What?
Different expression, right?
Different expression.
Yep.
So, and I was talking to someone recently about this, and it was driving me crazy because he goes, "Well, Tim, they both have four wheels. You can hop behind it and go." And the person happened to be in the airline industry. I go, "Well, a B-2 bomber isn't the same as a 747." And his comment to me was, "Well, they both fly." And I'm like, "Okay, we're done. We are absolutely done. If you were in front of me right now, I probably would have throat punched you." Because my question here is, what's the speed of each vehicle? B-2 bomber? What is the load capacity of that plane? Or what's the 747? What kind of armaments does it carry? Okay, so what kind of passengers can you put on the B-2 bomber? So we can go play this game. And if you're saying, well, if we do a kick, does that make us doing Taekwondo? This is kind of my rant right now. So let's not be stupid about what we're talking about. Let's be educated. Right off the bat, we look at these two cars. Many of the parts are not going to be different. And like you said, they are both unique. We can go to the Chevrolet HHR, and we have the PT Cruiser, which look very similar. And to the untrained, the novice in the automotive world, you might even think they're the same car, just maybe different years. Chevrolet, Dodge, none of the parts are going to be interchangeable. Okay, now I'm done with my rant. Here we go.
But at least those cars, both of those cars use American units, right?
Unfortunately, units. Probably half the shit's made overseas.
No, that's true. That's true.
Well, I think this may have been pre-chip.
There you go. That could have been. One of them was old.
So, and then I see some comments coming up, but I'll get back to that in a minute.
Yep.
Because I'm doing command center here. So, let's go here, and Ty, I will slowly go through the slides while you continue to talk.
Okay, so we just talked about, and these names of the styles are for illustration, just to take.
Oh my God! Stop!
What? Oh yes.
Okay. Hey, listen, Eric. When are you going to be on the damn show? I know you love the both of us, but when are you going to be on the show? please say it.
Here's my thing to Eric.
I love it. Yeah. All right, we're gonna come back to this. Okay, I'm gonna go back up to this one. Without a doubt, Remy was the fight. Okay, I'm gonna come back to all that. Let's go into this, and then we'll go back to these comments. But Eric, you need to be on the show. Okay, I miss my brother from another mother. Okay.
Right. So I was just recapping my piece, but I was just to start off the bat, think of the black circle as Remy's art. Remy was modernist, and when he first formed it, he started teaching his brother. And so I'm going to call this white circle, instead of labeling it Ernesto, it's right now here labeled Kombatan, but just think of that as Ernesto, as one of the bubbles in there. So initially, Remy got him started on the arts, at least in terms of what we're talking about today, and then Remy went away. Right. So what kept on happening is Ernesto grew and explored and had his own expression and his own innovations, which are some of the bubble leaving the larger circle. The reason that that bubble is sort of mentioned is not because, hey, it's wrong. It's not wrong. It is just not modernist as far as what Remy was doing at the time or was doing before. It's an extension. It's an outgrowth. It's budding. And that's all Ernesto. And that's a good thing. But at some point, it becomes a huge, body material. It's hugely different, enough different to get its own credit, and that's a good thing. And that was a gradual process over time, right? And don't worry about the sizes too much, except for the fact that we have this continual growth and budding, right? It happened over time. It wasn't one day it was Kombatan, or one day it was modernist, and the next day it was teaching Kombatan. I don't see how that could have happened. Yeah. So it was a growth process. As Remy wasn't around, Remy left for the States eventually. And anyway, so that was just a sort of the cheap illustration with Venn diagram of the overlap, the core, the concepts come from the same roots and come from the same starting place. And then the growth of a very gifted individual budding out into some areas of his own expression and contribution, really.
And that can be said for many of the students of Remy Presas in the Philippines.
Yep.
Matter of fact, we've talked about that quite a bit, that Remy took off, and these guys didn't have that information. They missed 26 years of modernist evolution done by Remy Presas. So they went and did their own evolution. So derivative, not a bad thing. It's just a different thing it came from. So, a bunch of the modern people, I don't look at doing modern anymore in the Philippines. They're doing their own thing. Remy took it in a direction and they couldn't follow due to this challenge. And the same thing with this. Ernesto had his own personal expression. And if modern and Kombatan are the same, what you're really saying is the two brothers' contribution means nothing, because you're really saying it's all modern and Remy was the one that created that.
Yeah, so it's all the same and it doesn't matter. And I'm saying that it's too simplistic. Plus, if you go back to the other thing about, hey, they're all doing stuff with sticks, then at some point you just say, hey, they're all doing FMA, and now we lose the context of a meaningful conversation.
So here we go. Without a doubt, Remy was the fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying that the others couldn't. I mean, they're family. They probably beat the crap out of each other. Anyway,
I'm sure they did.
I heard stories about how the fathers and son would fight each other. That was why he spent so much time with my dad doing catch wrestling and Ukrainian grappling. Okay, I'll say. Thank you for breaking it down. Great stuff. Thank you, both brothers. Okay, and once again, we need you on the show.
That would be awesome.
So many ways you can block, kick, or attack. Either way, it works, or it doesn't. And then Joe Doris. Oh wow, there's a lot of posts here. Didn't he do some boxing as well? I think no. Remy would play boxing, I think, with Rocky's father. And Rocky, please verify that.
Yeah.
I think Rocky. I remember Rocky telling me a story. I'll read. Okay, first of all, Tye Botting. They're all use the metric versus standard for vehicles. Okay, all right. These next two just seem to be something stupid. But I remember Rocky telling me a story. Something. I'm pretty sure it was him. I could be wrong. That his father was trying to show him boxing, and Remy kept doing trapping hands, and it kept pissing him off and tying things up. It's like, no, we're boxing. No, but I go like this. I tie you up. It is all the same, baby. But Rocky, please verify if I've got that right, because I want to make sure. If we are carrying this on. This is the show. Let's see if we got this right. Here we go. And all three brothers then got the credit for what they did with their arts. Perfect. And that's exactly what it is, This is pretty much the way I understand it. Okay. Tell that to Mark.
Well, I like her next comment is, it really illustrative, and I think we all have this experience the more we play among the two groups.
Okay. I know for a fact that there are things Kombatan does Modernist family don't do, and vice versa. Exactly. Right.
Yep. Yep.
Which we talked on the show. Yep. Ernesto specifically had staff curriculum. His stick and dagger curriculum was completely different than Remy's. When they do the abanicos, Remy's was more of the corto. Remy, really, we had it all, but he emphasized the corto. And here we go. I think all the systems have it all, but what is their comfort zone, or what is their specialty?
You kind of also you eventually at some place have to have it all, right? Because you have to bridge the gap. You can't just be a close-in trainer and then don't do anything else because you've got no way to close.
KPA.
Yep. And then there's also the huge double baston stuff too.
Yeah. So that's why when I do I do modern as a curriculum. I do Kombatan as another curriculum, but my day-to-day teaching is the Presas, which is doing the best of both. I focus if the brothers did the same material, I generally focused on Remy's because I'm more in tune with that. So I'm more that way. So when it comes to the Dumag, nothing against Ernesto, but I'm going to do Remy's way because of a couple things, including the fact that his best friend was Wally J. And I don't know of any stand-up blocker better than that was out there that I crossed hands with other than Wally J.
Well, also think about the sheer amount of times you and even me to a certain extent, felt Remy put those things on us, right? If you you don't get anything better than that, then knowing this is how the founder did it, he felt it I felt it from him. That's how I do it.
Like I said, when it was something that both brothers did, I generally lean towards the Remy side of things.
Yep.
But Ernesto had much broader, a much bigger width of Sinwalis. Like I said, the whole double stick program. Remy didn't do that.
Yeah, he expanded that a lot. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things that Ernesto did that Remy didn't. And each brother, and Roberto does his own thing, but there's that core that they do, but you cannot go back and forth. Here we go. You cannot just say it's the same. All right. Would you do that one?
Sure. So from Rocky. So, yep, boxing and catch wrestling. Yep, my dad and Remy did a lot of boxing and grappling. The best fight I ever saw was when my mom beating Remy with a broom for eating cake, the cake that she made for her church. My dad and Remy were close because of their love of things outside the arts. Yeah, I remember Rocky's story, and that's one of the reasons we got to get Rocky on the show too. So, Yep, Rocky, Eric, yeah, I guess you guys are on as soon as we can do that.
Yeah. Well, when you get back from Texas, we'll get some new people on. So listen, this has been a constant with us. We've always said the same thing. Even if we feel that someone's gone in a different direction and expressed themselves differently, like my Presas, when I'm doing the Presas blend, it is neither Remy's nor Ernesto's. It's a family blend. And when I'm side by side with people, they're both going to look at me. Okay. They can both look at me going, why would you do it that way? I've had modern people look at me weird when I'm doing a move, and a Kombatan doing the same.
Right.
And usually it's because I'm doing the other family side while they're doing stuff. Okay. I can't remember who it was, but someone described Remy Ernesto's body of water. Ernesto was broad and Remy's was depth. I didn't say water, but I always thought that Remy's material was there's much more depth in Remy's material than Ernesto's was much more width, I felt. Remy said it's all the same, but Ernesto really showed it. He would do everything. He did the same things with a lot of stuff over and over again in a positive way. He walked people through some exploration in a lot of
doing that, right?
Yeah. But here's where I'm going to say there's the thing different now. Okay, here we go. Remy, like Rocky said this on the last show, Remy didn't try to develop Arnisadors or Screamadors.
Right.
Remy taught people how to do self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
Ernesto's people were Arnisadors.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. Ernesto did not do the art within your art. He made them do Filipino martial arts. But it was two different approaches. Ernesto was trying to do Filipino martial arts. Remy was trying to make people better self-defense players.
And spread it far and wide.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Ernesto really showed it. Yep.
I think also, I mean, so for me, what Remy showed was what I could feel. A lot of stuff didn't show as well as you felt it.
I keep saying this. I don't think there's enough video footage of Remy, but none of it does Remy justice. Mm-hmm. Because the thing here is, the one thing is missing is that it's not Feel-O-Rama.
Right. Feel-O-Vision.
We don't
have a holodeck.
When he put hands on you, man, that was it. It was done.
Yep.
And no one has touched me like that. Stop it. Thank God Dad's not here.
I didn't say anything.
But I mean,
no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. And you can't even describe it. And it's not to make people feel bad, but it's just the best you can do is to try to show your own version of it and then tell them, hey, magnify that by X, whatever the factor is going to be.
It's like Ernesto. I mean, not Ernesto, Wally J. Wally J was a different type of thing. Okay, here we go. Anyways, it's bedtime. Regardless of the indifferences that we had in the past, I'm on your side as I'm on the side of Andy and others.
Yeah.
No, you can only be on my side, so screw it.
No, but that's good. And that's how it should be.
Okay.
Good deal.
We'll set up a show. When do you get back in February? When's your last?
I'll be back after the 15th, functionally.
Why don't we set like the guests to be like maybe the first week of March or something? We'll start doing that.
Sure.
We got Craig coming on, so that'll be a good one fighting. Yeah, that guy and the Canadian. So, and yelping and trying to walk on your toes.
Or fly. It's really hard to levitate, but boy, do you want to.
Oh my God, do you ever? Here, let me just look at this. I thought we gave Craig a specific date.
I can't remember at this point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got so the 21st is Tye Botting Part 2.
Oh yeah, I still got to figure out.
Yep.
Where to
and
go
then February 28th is Craig Mason and Sparring, which is going to be also interviewing one of the guests who are going to be on the anniversary camp, or who will be teaching at the anniversary camp. So, okay, it is always interesting to see what he was teaching, but also catch the stuff he was doing, not talking about. Yep.
Yes, George has the correct.
Yep.
And so does Rocky in the comment before.
Yep. You don't know what you don't know, and if all you ever did was pick up a stick when he was around and you didn't train it when he was gone, and I don't mean dead, I'm talking when he was going to the next seminar, then you really have no clue on what you missed.
You didn't do your work or your homework to prep you to get the most out of things.
And you know what? It's not just Remy. I've seen it with other systems too.
Yep.
It's not just it. It's just that because we're on the inside, we get to see that. We know exactly what we're talking about. We know the people, and that's why modern Arnis is so misunderstood, because a lot of people don't realize that. And like I said, go back to what Rocky said the other week. He said it perfectly. Remy didn't try to build discriminators. Mm-hmm. He tried to make people better martial arts. Mm-hmm. And the term I use is the modern Arnis 1%ers. There's a couple of us out there, maybe 1% of the population of Remy's did it as a standalone program, trained it that way. Mm-hmm. So,
and for those of you who are familiar with the other version of 1%er, it's not that one.
It's not the biker one. Yeah.
Right, not the biker 1%ers.
I wanted to do a match, but then all of a sudden, one of my friends goes, "You can't do that. Why? Because the bikers are a pro." What? Oh yeah, right. All right. Good night. God bless. All right. And I tried to look. As a matter of fact, I saw Rich do an Irish jig, and he's not even Irish.
Nice.
And it was freaking awesome. I mean,
that's the biggest damn leprechaun anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, and his shillelagh didn't help him. Thank you, gentlemen. Informative visuals, top notch. I don't have anything. Do you have anything else?
I don't got anything or any rants, but I was going to tail on to one of your rants. I think we've talked about this before, but you were talking about the ranks and the titles and stuff like that. What I was trying to remind people is, look, the ranks and the titles anybody have are only pertain in the context they were given. In other words, if your teacher gave it to you for school, then it only matters at the school because it's not going to translate necessarily, right? And thinking it translates to other things necessarily is kind of assuming a lot. Anyway, that's just tail on to what you were saying earlier, but I don't have a real rant. I'm trying to work on it though.
My camera.
But I will say this: you need to bite like an eagle.
Bite. Stop! I'll stop with that Cobra Kai bullshit.
I'm laughing my butt off because
that is awesome. I gotta say that that's pretty freaking awesome.
Billy Zabka is doing an awesome job.
I love Johnny.
Yep.
He is just freaking awesome.
Well, yep. There you go, Rich.
I've got all this stuff I'm doing on my camera right now. It's just not working.
You're giving people epilepsy, probably.
Yeah, probably. All right.
So do it, but so it's a little early. Well, maybe not early, but quicker than some of ours. So I will say, so I don't have anything else. I don't know if you do either, but let's give everybody their go backs or anything like that. Okay. Anybody else got anything they want to add or ask? Or say?
LOL, and then Eagle Fang forever. Okay.
There you go.
Salamat from Maui, Hawaii.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Thank you. Aloha.
Mahalo. I like Maui a lot. Anyway.
I can't think of anything. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we do what we do.
Well, and I don't know if people were expecting this to be controversial. I wasn't trying to be controversial. It was just discussing it like adults, hopefully. And it's just the way you look at things, right?
Yeah, I recently almost got into it with somebody on it. And as I said, I wanted to throw punch somebody. And it's like, I just don't understand what you don't understand here. It's just, especially with someone we talked about, we thought we had it all down. But it is what it is.
I guess it depends on what level of differences, similarities are important to you, right? If you're looking at the big picture and we're all doing martial arts, okay, we're all doing martial arts, but you can't really have much of a conversation if that's the level you want to have it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to promote 2 events real quick before we call it a night. Only because I don't have your graphics, otherwise I'd do more. We have to get better on that.
Well, the only ones I have are the 2 you have. Plus the other one doesn't have one.
Okay, so I will be in Florida at All Star Martial Arts in Jacksonville doing the Southeast Modern East Camp. The 27th, I'll be in Orlando, Eskrima, doing a class there.
The 27th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So the day before, I'm zipping down to Orlando for a couple things. I don't have any flyers on it because it's really just me visiting, and we talked, and I'm going to do a class while I'm there.
Oh, good. So that's a week and a half.
No. I'm going there just for a half weekend.
No, a week and a half from now.
Oh yeah. And then our big one, the Triple Threat Seminar.
Those guys,
baby. Eric, you were gonna have your brother and your 2 martial children working together.
There you go. Yeah, we'll have fun.
So, all right, and then Dean Franco's covering this event. So Dean Franco's attending the event, and he's going to do a show afterwards. So we're not sure about that. We're talking about going out for dinner afterwards and then come back and doing a show. or if no one goes out for dinner, we're just going to go right and do a show. So let me do this. Stop. So listen, and the next week's show is about the WMA, how it started, what it's done in the past, what it's doing in the future, and all the other fun stuff. And then while you're gone, the first one I'm going to do what happened when Professor was diagnosed. That's probably going to be short because it's going to be me talking and answering questions of people, and that's about it. And then we'll get back into it. I'm not sure what we're doing while you're gone. We'll talk about that today. What you do on the show, the second show while you're gone. So I have nothing else. Please, as always, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Check out our sponsors, the Modern East University, as well as Vulpes Training Blades. They're on Etsy, by the way. Vulpes Training Blades. Mm-hmm. If you're in the continental U.S., all the prices include shipping and handling, unless that's changed. This is my favorite synthetic trainers. Has the Datu line, has the Da, the Talabong, the Panute, Tomahawk, as well as a dagger, and hopefully the double Das will be coming out shortly.
And these are all handcrafted. That's what some people don't realize.
All handcrafted. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I've got nothing else. We've had our little rants and stuff. Everybody, do your work. If we want to see the art grow, get involved. So okay. Oh, I have here. Do we have this? Okay, we have that one. Hold on.
Jeremy is asking a Kombatan Hinagaran Ernesto Mano Ernesto Roberto question. That would be a whole nother thing, probably.
Yeah, Roberto really focused on that stick and dagger. That we have a little less data than others, so
I certainly do.
And then talk to Jeremy. And Renee, what do you mean my favorite blade? Are you talking about of the trainers, or are you talking in general?
Stormbringer.
I do like Stormbringer a lot. I'm an Excalibur guy too, but Stormbringer really cool. Yeah.
Yep.
In S4, there was a version. TSR had their version of Stormbringer.
And then don't forget the blade from the Shadow of the Torturer, the one with the mercury filled.
Everyday carry. Oh, here we go.
Oh, okay, there you go. So he's talking about that. Yep, there you go.
So I carry a. This is the Casper Kershaw design from Columbia Rivers. It's no longer in. So this is a Columbia Rivers knife and tool. This is a very inexpensive blade when it was out. It fits my hand very well. Paulo's got one of these. I gave it to him. And so was Joey Reyes. I gave it to one of him. Now I can't get them, so I ain't giving none of them away. I only got 2 left.
There you go.
I was picking these up. I think when they were in production, John got me hooked up on them. And at the time, they were probably like $70, $80 knives. And then I was picking them up on Amazon for like 15 to $20 because they're on closeout. I should have bought like 20 of them or so.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But all right. Well, I'm going to do our thing then, right? It's that time, right?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. Listen, everybody, as always, please stay safe, stay sane. And, Jackie.
Doing the work. Awesome.
Found up a new Presas student. Okay. Good. Oh, okay. And no, actually, that's what I was okay. So I was going to say, if we want to see the art moving forward, okay, if you're leading, then lead. Step up and do what you need to do. Train your students to be the next generation. Mm-hmm. You either need to do it yourself. If you can't do it, back someone who can. And if that doesn't work, get the hell out of the way for those who are doing the work. Okay, do it. If you can't do it, support someone who can. If you can't, get the hell out of the way. That's simple. Don't undermine people. Don't backstab people. Don't become a speed bump because your ego can't handle shit. At the end of the day, especially if a professor told you to get involved, well, then get involved in doing something. Uh-oh. That's it. Fight against.
I feel bad that I get that reference.
There we go. And then we need to and then we're going to be talking about putting Renee on the show too, because he needs to be on the show with us. All right, listen, everybody, as always, please stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
PG Ty, take care.
All right, catch you all later.